Hello, in this video we'll be looking at the circle, and we'll start off with looking at the parts of this. And so we have the circle, and the circle, the actual measure of the circle is called the circumference. The circumference of a circle is the same as the perimeter of the circle, except with perimeter you are usually able to add the parts, but it's a circle, and so the perimeter of the circle is called the circumference because you are not adding any part. You are given a particular formula to use to find the circumference. Alright, and so the second part of the circle that we want to look at outside of the circumference is the diameter. And the diameter is the part of the circle that it's the line that divides the circle in half. So in other words, that line must run through the center of the circle. So that line running through the center of the circle from any direction is called the diameter. Right, let's move on. And then we have the radius. The radius is a line that runs from the center of the circle to the circumference, and the radius is also half of the diameter. So in any direction, once you're running from the center of the circle to the circumference, you are looking at the radius. And then we have the arc. We have what is called the minor arc, and in general the arc is a piece of the circumference. So the minor arc is a smaller portion of the circumference, and the angle that goes with the minor arc is less than 180 degrees, because angles in a circle add up to 360 degrees and 180 is half. So for it to be smaller, for it to be the smaller portion, the angle that goes with the minor arc must be less than half the circle, which is less than 180 degrees. And as you can imagine, the major arc is the bigger part or bigger portion of the circumference. And the angle that goes with the major arc is more than or greater than 180 degrees. Now, if you are given a particular angle and you are asked for the other arc, then you simply subtract that angle from 360 degrees to get the other part. So say for example, you are given an angle right here, 110 degrees, right? That's the minor arc. But then the question says, find the major arc. You would then have to subtract 110 degrees from 360 to find out the angle for the major arc, because the angle that you were given was for the minor arc, right? So that would be 360 minus 110, which I believe is 250 degrees. So that is what you would use to find your answer. Right, let's look at the formula now. So we said that the circumference is the perimeter of the circle, but in general, perimeter is when you add all the sides, but the circle has no sides, so it has its own formula and own wording, circumference. In order to calculate the circumference, we have two formulas: 2 pi r, which means 2 multiplied by pi multiplied by r. Recall that r means radius, and pi is an irrational number that you are going to research that is approximately 3.14 or 22 over 7. Now, because 2 radius makes a diameter, we have this formula right here, pi times diameter. It's the same as pi times 2r, and 2r represents radius. But in general, we want our numbers at the front, mathematically speaking, and so it is rearranged to be 2 pi r, because we don't want to have x5, we want 5x. And so that is why we have 2 pi at the front. Pi is a specific number and 2 is obviously a specific number that we do know. And so if we are given, so let's say we have the circle here and we are told to find the circumference. And we are told that the radius is 8 centimeters. The fact that we are given the radius, we would want to use the formula 2 pi r. So circumference, always write your formula first, is 2 pi r. So it's going to be 2 multiplied by 3.14 multiplied by the radius, which is 8, and we would get our answer. Now I'm going to approximate because I do not have a pen or a calculator near me. So I'm going to approximate to 51 centimeters. You can verify with your calculator. So because you are given the radius, we use the formula C equal 2 pi r. If we were given the diameter, we would have easily used C equal pi times diameter.